I was the mistake of two reckless teenagers. My bio dad bolted to Saudi Arabia the moment he heard the word pregnant, and my bio mom lasted exactly 3 months before dumping me on my grandmother's doorstep like an unwanted package. My grandma, Rosa, was a saint disguised as a tired woman in her 60s. She'd been widowed young and spent her life scrubbing office buildings at night to make ends meet. We lived in a cramped apartment where the heat barely worked and dinner was often just rice and whatever vegetables were on clearance. But Rosa never made me feel like a burden. She'd read to me in broken English, teach me Spanish curse words when she thought I wasn't paying attention, and always saved the last bite of whatever we were eating for me. When I was 8, I came home from school to find paramedics carrying her out in a body bag. Heart attack at 59. I remember standing in that empty apartment, clutching her rosary, knowing my real hell was about to begin. My bio mom, Linda, had remarried some hotshot contractor named Rick who'd built them a mansion in the suburbs. They had 3 perfect children together, Madison, Tyler, and Sophia, ranging from 3 to 6 years younger than me. When social services dropped me off at their door, Rick looked at me like I was a stray dog someone had forced him to take in. "This is temporary," he announced to his wife, not bothering to lower his voice. "Until we figure something else out." Temporary lasted 10 years. The contrast was immediate and brutal. Madison, Tyler, and Sophia each had bedrooms bigger than my grandmother's entire apartment, complete with walk-in closets and their own bathrooms. They attended St. Catherine's Preparatory Academy, took violin lessons, went to summer camps in the Hamptons, and had more toys than most children's hospitals. I got a sleeping bag in the corner of the living room behind the couch. When they had guests, I had to disappear upstairs and stay quiet. I attended Roosevelt Public, the kind of school where metal detectors were as common as textbooks, and half the teachers had given up pretending they cared. At 13, Rick informed me I'd be getting a job. "Time you start contributing to this household instead of being a drain on resources." Linda nodded along like his personal cheerleader, never once making eye contact with me. So while Madison was starting horseback riding lessons and Tyler was joining the country club's junior golf program, I was delivering newspapers at 5 a.m. and stocking shelves at Murphy's Corner store after school. Every penny went to Rick as board money, though I noticed they never asked Madison to pay for her weekly mall trips or Tyler for his expensive gaming setup. My routine became military precise out of necessity. 5 a.m. wake up, deliver papers, home by 6:30 to do assigned chores, cleaning their bathrooms, taking out trash, doing laundry, grab a piece of fruit or leftover toast, school by 7:45, work from 3:30 to 7 p.m., then straight to the public library until closing at 9 p.m. The library became my sanctuary. Mrs. Chun, the head librarian, eventually stopped asking why a teenager was there every single night and just started saving the good books for me. I devoured everything: fiction, biographies, SAT prep guides, college brochures. I taught myself advanced math, read philosophy texts I barely understood, and learned basic coding from outdated computer manuals. When other kids were at parties or hanging out at the mall, I was volunteering at the animal shelter, the food bank, and the community center. Rick and Linda couldn't object to charity work. It made them look good to their church friends. "Look how we're raising that boy to serve others," Linda would brag, as if she'd had anything to do with it. My siblings treated me like household staff. Madison would snap her fingers when she wanted me to bring her drinks. Tyler would accidentally spill things for me to clean up. Sophia, the youngest, learned early to look right through me like I was invisible. They never included me in family photos, never acknowledged my birthday, never spoke to me unless they needed something. But here's what Rick and Linda didn't count on. All that time in the library, all that studying, all that quiet determination was building something they couldn't control. My grades were perfect, not just good, perfect. I was in the 99th percentile for SATs. I was volunteering so much that local organizations started writing recommendation letters. I was becoming exactly the kind of student colleges fight over. Senior year, the acceptance letters started rolling in. Full rides to Northwestern, Emory, University of Michigan. My guidance counselor, Mr. Rodriguez, had been quietly helping me navigate the application process, even driving me to college fairs when Rick refused to let me borrow the car. The night before I left for Northwestern, I was packing my few belongings when Linda finally approached me. For a moment, I thought she might say something kind, maybe even apologize. Instead, she handed me a bill. "Final charges for room and board. You can send payments to this address once you're settled." I looked at the invoice, $15,000 for 4 years of sleeping on their living room floor and eating their leftovers. I folded it carefully and put it in my pocket, knowing I'd never send a single payment. I graduated summa cum laude with dual degrees in business and computer science. While my classmates were partying, I was building websites for local businesses and saving every dollar. By 25, I'd started my own software company. By 30, it was worth 8 figures. The 2008 financial crisis that destroyed Rick's construction business was the best thing that ever happened to my bank account. While everyone else was losing their shirts in real estate, I was buying distressed properties and developing apps that helped people manage their finances during tough times. Then came the phone calls. First, it was Sophia. "Hey, big brother. I know we haven't talked in forever, but I'm in a bit of a bind with student loans." Then Tyler. "Man, I heard you're doing really well. I've got this amazing business opportunity if you're interested in investing." Madison was the most direct. Look, I know things were complicated when we were kids, but family is family, right? Mom and Dad are about to lose the house. Even Linda started calling, suddenly full of regret and explanations about how difficult those years had been for everyone, how they'd done their best under challenging circumstances. I listened politely to each call and gave them all the same response. I'm sorry, but I don't have any family. Because I don't. My family was Rosa, who died when I was 8. My family was Mrs. Chun, who let me stay in the library past closing when she knew I had nowhere else to go. My family was Mr. Rodriguez, who spent his own money on gas to drive me to college interviews. My family was the handful of friends who knew my real story and stuck around anyway. I'm 33 now, running a company that employs over 200 people and generates more revenue than Rick's construction business ever did in its best year. I own properties in 3 states, travel whenever I want, and answer to no one but myself. The downside? 10 years of emotional abuse and neglect don't just disappear because your bank account has more zeros. I've been in therapy for 5 years, slowly learning how to trust people, how to be vulnerable, how to believe that someone might actually want to be around me for reasons other than what I can provide them. Relationships are hard when you've spent your formative years being treated like you're fundamentally unworthy of love. I've had 3 serious relationships end because I couldn't fully open up, couldn't stop waiting for the other shoe to drop, couldn't believe someone would choose me if they had literally any other option. But I'm working on it. I have a small circle of friends who know everything and love me anyway. I'm learning to trust my therapist. I'm even starting to believe that maybe someday I could have a family of my own. One where kids feel wanted, where love isn't conditional, where being imperfect doesn't make you expendable. The irony isn't lost on me that the family who treated me like garbage for years only remembered my existence when they needed something. But I learned something they never will. Real family isn't about blood or obligation. It's about choice. It's about showing up. It's about love that doesn't come with conditions or invoices. I chose my real family, and they chose me back. And unlike the people who share my DNA, these relationships were built to last.